Well, look who showed back up. I'll get you, my pretty. Yes, Kaja. So you went to the courthouse to support Natureboy. Then she goes over and does a 4-hour interview. How long ago was this? 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. I got 3 videos on this woman. You want to hear a snippet? Well, here it goes.
Greetings, loves. Okay, so I was able to get in the live and talk to Kaja. And you guys know I generally don't be trying to talk to these people. But hey, this is what I felt the need to do, right? So I got in, I asked her some questions. I'm going to let y'all watch for yourself. Then I'm going to give my commentary. How you doing? Oh, you freezing already. Are you able to hear me? I can hear you. Your page is frozen. Oh, my page is frozen? Oh, it looks like me. But I can hear you now. Okay.
Now, this lady has a very interesting time that she spent with carbonation. Yeah. Ooh, it's juicy, y'all. It's juicy. Okay, I have 3 videos on her. All right? And if you go to my playlist of Carbonation Natureboy, you'll see it. The ones with the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz on the thumbnail. Yeah. Why, you ask? Well.
Nana and Eligio was having some sexual activities in the bed with the baby, right? Yeah. Okay. And then Nana was tripping. Well, she was tripping before that, right? She just started having some episodes, if you will, and nothing necessarily triggered that. It was just you was trying to show Eligio a picture of a female. Well, that was in the airport, like, on our way traveling. That was the first time I noticed, like, I gotta watch, how authentic I am around her, I guess. So that was the first hint that she was gonna start changing, now that I think that, she was out and that we were all together. She was kind of, she was easing on into it. Right. But I'm talking about, like, when she really flipped out in the room, when you said she started, like, getting upset and becoming physically upset. And she had the baby in her hands. Yeah, so that was when we were in the room. She was just, like, standing there, like, catatonic, staring. And he was in the shower. And I remember thinking, like, what is wrong with her? But, I didn't say anything. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yo, how about I'm over here reading the comments? We was on Instagram. Look at these fools in the comments. They going in on world news. They talking about Lurker. But shout out to Prometheus for shouting out my channel, though.
But, so he was just out of nowhere. He got in the shower, and like the door was partially like open, so like, cause he calls to her and like has her get him his towel or his soap or whatever he wants while he's in the shower. So she was kind of like whatever, puttering around in the room, and then all of a sudden she just like stood up straight and just stared at the wall like.
Don't turn me petty in the building. These the old schoolers. Foot on neck, okay? Foot on carbonation neck.
Just stood there, and I was like, "Are you all right?" She was like, she just kept staring, and then finally started calling her, and she was like, "No, and she started flipping out, saying she didn't want to be there anymore, and he might as well just be with me, and this and that, and grabbed the baby in her arm and ran out to the hallway and started punching holes in the wall. Holes in the wall. Yeah, that was before the fact. That was, several hours before. And she was holding on to.
So this lady was with them. She was with them for a short time. I know she gave Eligio money. I think this was the time that they were on the run. When weren't they back then? I think she bought them a hotel room, and I don't know, Natureboy came out and said a lot of stuff. She wanted to sleep with him, she wanted to be with him, and all that. It was a lot of drama with this lady, y'all. She wanted baby Ellie. Yeah, she wanted baby Ellie. And she was really, really, really going in against, I used to call her Il Nana, Velvet. She was really going in on Velvet. And she was telling a lot of stuff about Velvet. But, they got rid of her. But, again, I have 3 videos on this lady. You got to watch them to see why.
The baby the entire time? Yeah. Well, once she ran out of the room, I couldn't technically tell you that she was holding on to the baby. But, yeah, she had the baby in her arm and she ran out, causing the problem. He went after her and she was screaming and cursing at him, kicking the metal elevator doors, punching a hole right out there. And this is a nice hotel, mind you. So you caused damage to the hotel room? To the hotel room, no. But when we went out to the, to the hallway, when I went out after the fact, like the next morning or whatever, I did visually look and I didn't see anything that I could see, but I didn't want to really look too much either. Right. Okay. So no one was called up or anything? No one came up from the hotel staff? I was waiting. I thought that was going to happen, but that never happened. So I guess, that was good, I guess.
You hear people, do you see people in the comment section calling her out? They was like, you said she was a bunch of holes in the walls. Now she ain't do no damage? Or you didn't see no damage?
Acting like that. How was the baby? Did it seem normal to the baby? Did the baby seem frightened or anything? They were out of my view, but I don't remember the baby crying or anything. I don't remember. It might have been, but I don't remember hearing the baby crying. I just remember her whacking around and, punching stuff and just cursing and screaming as loud as she could. Wow. So when she was screaming, what was she saying? She was like, "No, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in this relationship. Go be with Kaja." And then you could hear her throwing her ring, and I guess she snapped her necklace off. This is what I heard when they came back to the room once we got her out of the hallway and brought her back into the room. But they were standing kind of over behind like a partial wall, so I couldn't really see, but they were kind of right over there. So I could hear the ring tingle down, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna throw my ring on the floor? Why are you doing this? I haven't even done anything." And so he hadn't done anything. Right. So she was just triggered by you being there. She felt intimidated. Wow. I guess. So that violent behavior, do you think there's something that's mentally wrong with her? I think she's very aggressive and has a violent problem. Yeah. So don't you think that that's a danger to the baby? That one day, Oh yeah. It could be unpredictable what kind of things she might do while she's having an episode like that, because there's nothing that you can think of to rationally justify her behaving that way. So yeah, no, it was, so I had asked to
to keep the baby a couple times that whole evening. So when her initial episode, tantrum where she went out and was, punching the walls with the baby in her arms, and then she came back, I had told, because I said, once I let him talk to her and I wanted to see where it went, and she said, and she said, calm down. He was just like going to let it go. And I was like, once I realized that he was just going to let it go, I was like, no. I said, I can't have somebody in my...
Patty says, keep the baby as in for the episode or to keep? Y'all got to check out them videos I did on this lady now. Ooh, I'll get you, my pretty.
Life in my room doing that. I said, you're going to have to go. And then, immediately she, and then he was like, you're going to do that to her? You're going to do that to my baby? And when he said that, of course my compassion kicked in, and I was like, no, the baby doesn't have to. I'm not kicking the baby out. I said, the baby can stay here. I said, she has to leave. And, he's like, well, I'm not going to let her go out onto the streets in the middle of the night, in some, place we don't know. I said, well, then you can go too. You both can go, and I'll take care of the baby until you get yourself situated. And they just looked at me like I was just crazy, you know what I mean? But my reason was, she was just kicking holes in the wall with the baby in her arms, slinging it around, late at night.
Pay attention. First of all, who not going to look at you like you crazy? You telling them you want to kick her out in the middle of the night. I mean, of course he's not going to want to go for that. Who would? Secondly, you telling him to get out and leave that baby with you. And you think that that's a normal request. All right, but she said she going crazy. She kicking holes in the wall, but then she said there wasn't no holes in the wall. All right, but whatever. Okay.
And, but it's just like I said, he came back and sat us down and just talked to us for so many hours. You're just defeated after that point.
Eliana did say old girl wanted her baby. I believe Eligio backed that story up, but they did say she was weird and a whole bunch of other stuff. Woo.
So I was just like, well, I'll just let it go. You know what I mean? And he's like,
He said, Eligio talk to you guys for hours?
Yeah.
To you and Eliana? Well, not
because at that point, I was...
He talked to us, or he talked to you?
Saying no. I want her to go. He was like, he was trying to rationalize why I shouldn't do that. And in the end, it was because of the baby, I mean, I would have preferred, I'll keep the baby and those losers can get out of here. But it wasn't, it became a thing like, of course they're not going to leave their baby with me, I guess. But see, in my mind, I was the better option. But of course, some of these parents are not going to choose that, I mean, I understand that, but if they wanted to be nice, they would have left the baby and just got out of there.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure you can understand why they felt like they didn't want to disconnect from their own baby.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it's good that you were concerned about the baby. Is that what made you want to help them get land?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can have somewhere stable to stay and not have to keep moving around.
Yeah, and I was going to benefit from that as well. Or so, in my good scenario of what should happen.
Because you were going to stay there with them?
Well, I was going to, be there for, the initial purchase. And, I was going to choose what I liked. Mm-hmm. They were going to be there for support, and then, I would purchase it. I would come back here, to Babylon. Mm-hmm. And, just take care of my life here. And then...
Okay, hold on now. She's going to purchase the land that she likes. They will stay there. And she going to come back to Babylon. Pay attention.
Probably go back, check on them. See how they're doing. And, assuming everything is still going well and, they're being productive with, that gift, then...
I see people in the chat complaining. But obviously my strategy worked. She talking. She wasn't trying to talk to nobody else. What y'all gonna do? Bust up in there all aggressive? Oh, she gotta pick you first. I mean, come on now. The woman is talking. What you complaining for? Because you want it to be dramatic? Well, you're not going to get no lip service like that. Just sit back and pay attention.
I would continue to let them stay there. I mean, it seems like a good idea.
Yeah, it does. So you're well off then, huh? Financially?
I'm okay, yeah. I could buy some land.
Well, that's good. They don't know what kind of blessing they just missed out on. That's really unfortunate. Wow. So you seen that in South America?
She could tell I was trying my best to be nice because I wanted her to talk, right? And which she did. So, hey. But this...
World News did a lot of coverage on this lady, too, and found out some stuff. And it's worth checking out, y'all. It's worth checking out. This lady here, you see she showed up, right? This was 4 years ago. She showed up at court. Okay. I ain't gonna give you too much. Just enough to make you curious.
Telling you. I'm not even gonna tell y'all what all I was receiving from this lady, but the energy is, when I say bad, I mean real bad. Real bad. And she knew.
Look at her face.
If y'all go back and watch her whole life, she did not want to add me. She didn't want to add me. She was afraid to.
She didn't want to add nobody.
If it wasn't for people in the comment section that kept saying, add soul alchemy, she would not have added me. And she did say, oh, well, I don't know if she's going to be nice to me or whatever. So I don't know if she watched my videos or whatever, but yeah. You look at her face. Look, you could feel the tension. And I was trying to be nice. It was fake nice, but this is some demonic stuff twisted up with this carbonation situation. Very
trying to
demonic.
tell you.
That was your choice or theirs?
We decided on some potential areas that we liked, yeah.
Okay. And you said the rest of the carbonation girls with them?
No, they're on their way.
Okay. So Shiva and her baby will have somewhere stable to stay.
Well, I mean, I don't know, they're on their own now. I mean, because I'm not there, so they're looking for land in a place where they have no money now to get the land. So,
okay. So they didn't get the land.
no, I mean, Nana flipped out the first night we got there. She's such an idiot. I mean, this girl, she's just setting herself up for failure time and time again.
Wow. So there's got to be something wrong with her. Do you think maybe she has like a mental imbalance or something?
Now, she said, and because she did like 2-3 lives before this one, she said that they're in South America, okay? She said that the rest of carbonation are now with them, okay? How would she know this if she's not still in contact with them and working with them? I don't care if that was the plan. Anything could happen after they parted, especially if they don't have any more funds.
World, did you see this lady in court? Did you see she showed back up? Did you see this, World? Remember her? Remember this lady?
Claims, but we know that's not true.
Still hanging around.
Because we're paying attention. Okay. The alchemists are paying attention. Aren't we? My alchemists, aren't you paying attention? I hope so. Yeah, she did. She said they are in South America and the rest of carbonation are with them, and Joy will be joining later. Okay? She also said, hold on, I'm gonna let this play a little bit more. Wait, hold on, before we continue, right? She also said they were in California. That's where they originally landed, only long enough to turn their organization into somewhat of a I guess she didn't technically say 501c, but a religious organization, so that they will be protected. She spoke about this in the other live. When I asked her about it, she backtracked and she lied. She said she didn't know anything about it, the details, she didn't have anything to do with it. But in that first live, okay, she said that's why they was there, and she helped them to get it. Yeah.
Psychiatrist, maybe get on some medication.
Yeah, but she'll never get on medication. And he won't allow it.
Now, see, this is the problem. Okay? This is the problem. Y'all can Eligio and all that other stuff all you want to. But this is substantial right here. She is saying some of the same things Ether was saying. And what pure is a pure? Yeah. About Nana hurting that baby to get Eligio's attention out of being jealous of him being with another woman. Ether has said twice that Eliana is crazy, and she flips out often. And the first thing that people have to do is get the baby out of her hands, because they're worried about what happens to the baby. Now, I hit Ether up, and I asked him to have a conversation with me to talk about this. At first, he agreed. Well, he said he'd be willing to talk. But then when I let him know specifically what I would like for him to come on and talk about, he didn't respond back. He just read the message. Then, a couple of days later, someone posted a live he did saying that he's not here to expose anybody, yada, yada, yada. I guess he want to start his own thing. Ether was there more than once. He was there for 48 hours back when Mama Dia was there. Again, I'm the only one who has been stressing this. Other people act like they didn't even hear it. That's very interesting. He said he came there to help them. He came there to help them get their papers straight. Just like she came to help them get their stuff straight. These people are being...
The financial backers send in. You know. If you know, you know. You know. Aya said, we got people that look out for us. And who are those people?
Sent there to help them. Now, she said, this lady, in a live before I got on, that they are being paid. Carbonation is being paid. They're getting checks by corporations with an S. She named like 3 or 4. I'm going to play it. I wasn't going to play nothing but just my conversation with her if I had one. But I'm going to play all of that because she said a lot of stuff and now she's backtracking.
Her and Eligio got into it. She was trying to get them to sign a deal for a reality show, and he just ranted about that for, I think it was days. He don't want to do a reality show and all that. But didn't he end up doing a reality show anyway?
Allow that fall. And I'll tell you another thing that I found out. You want some tea? Here is some tea, my friends.
What's that?
You know how everybody has been wondering, like they all say, well, like if there was any diseases among her or the baby, it would have been found out at her having the baby there in Mexico. But you know what she volunteered to me is that they tried to take her blood before having the baby and the baby's blood, and they refused. So their blood has never been tested for anything.
Right. Even though he did say that it happened, it didn't happen.
Yeah, no, she said no, they wouldn't allow them to take anybody's blood.
Wow. I I wonder why they didn't want to let him test him.
See, people, it's some people in the comment section, and they don't understand. They don't understand. They talk about new caller. This woman is talking. Okay, she's talking, and the things that she is saying is necessary information. Okay, and she giving it up when she wasn't trying to talk to nobody. So y'all just sit back and stay in the comment section. All right.
I mean, it's just being safe. It's a precaution. Wow. So you're not concerned about her being the main caretaker of the baby and having these episodes and the fact that
See, I wasn't even paying attention to nobody in the comment section. That's why I'm looking at them now. And I see that these people are just here for entertainment. That's why they saying all this other stuff. And I don't care about what they saying. Because there's a reason why I'm talking to her the way I am. And why I'm asking her these questions the way I am. These people just want to be entertained.
it's like defensive of her in those situations, like, you know, maybe one day her being like that and not really being coherent of what she's doing, that she might actually harm the baby one day.
Well, I mean, I would hope not, but if anybody was going to harm the baby, it'd be her.
Okay.
Right.
So think about everything that she's been saying about Eliana and her being a danger to the baby. Now, when I've stressed that a little bit more, because she said in the live previously that she'll never tell anybody where their location is. But listen to all she's saying about Eliana being a danger. Somebody who just flips out like that.
She was going
and she's
hard
always
against
holding her
Velvet.
baby when she's doing it.
She was
That's
going hard
dangerous.
against Velvet.
Like she needs to get help for that. Listen to her though.
And a lot of people are saying this.
It's okay, I can't say that this is something that's going to happen. God, you know, no. But, I mean, I could see some tendencies there, yeah.
Right. A lot of people are saying this, and then for you to say it too, I mean, that's just a big cause for concern, you know. I think that, you know, somebody needs to look into that. Definitely. I know you were saying that you would never give up their
Look at her. She's sitting there like, I don't care. We ain't concerned about that. The mission will continue. Hey, whatever that mission is, because somebody got a plan for carbonation. Clearly.
location, but I would like to think in the case of the safety of the baby, you will do it.
Well, I mean, there's been nothing really that is illegal going on with the baby. As far
Look, she said she ain't giving that man up. Although your method is soothing, this woman wants to be with that man. And it did seem like that, but and that could be true, but I think it's deeper than that. And I find it interesting that she's showing up now. So I'm sure she's here to help fund his defense team so he can do his appeal or a new trial even, because he probably could qualify for either or. Well, he gets an appeal, but he could possibly qualify for a new trial if they get a good enough attorney. I'm sure she'll pay for it.
as I know, too, not that I agree with it because I don't, but I don't think in a South American country like the one that they're in, I don't think that there's any sort of real laws against, having a baby laying in the
See, that's what they do. They try to get somewhere where the laws will protect whatever it is they want to do. That's why that's the first thing that came out of her mouth. They couldn't wait to get out of the U.S. And she's talking about them having sex with the baby in the bed. I'm talking about this woman being literally crazy and spazzing out and having fits around her child and with her child in her hands.
See, a lot of y'all wasn't around for the Velvet abusing baby Ellie days. Y'all wasn't around for that. No, you wasn't around for that.
It's been said by multiple people. Dude, that's dangerous.
And, I don't know. I don't know the rules, but I'm just saying, I think that if it was like, to be based on that, I don't think it would fly. I think you'd have to have some serious, charges, some serious, proof of something that, was illegal happening. Although I don't know, but I don't find it.
Right. Well, besides them, whatever they're doing in the bed, I'm just talking about her and her mental instability and her potential to be violent and have these episodes. I mean, that within itself, doesn't that make her a danger to the baby?
I mean, yeah, but like I said, I can't say that she's doing anything with proof. I can't say that. So I mean,
How can she not? She just said that that's the reason why y'all.
She was doing a whole lot of lives.
What you mean you can't say she's doing anything with proof?
Listen.
You described it to us.
So now
You described it to us.
Somebody
That's not
questioning
proof.
you
Your
and you
eyesight
want to
is not proof.
backtrack.
What you witness is not proof.
You want to backtrack. Okay. Now.
Okay.
Other than what you saw,
well, yeah.
her flipping out with no justifiable reason.
I just heard, the punching and stuff when she was holding the baby.
See how she's trying to backtrack now?
And that could just be speculation.
It could be. See this? You pay attention. Pay attention.
Didn't really see her holding the baby, but she did leave the room with the baby. So, I mean, you know things, but you can't really say that you saw it.
Well, you should have said it because you were screaming it on your live, right? You were screaming it on your live. All this she was doing with the baby, right? Now you're being questioned and you're backtracking on what you said. Now you're unsure. Now you didn't see it. Now you don't know. Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
What the hell does that
Right. So it does sound like you're kind of being defensive of her in this moment.
She's done with me now.
And I guess I can understand why, because you're kind of compassionate towards all of them. But you also did say your main concern was the baby.
Yeah.
And you said that you were going to get them some land and come back and visit them at the same time.
See, do you see her reach down and grab something? So she's trying to mess up the live so we can have a bad connection.
Should have been running her mouth.
But you know how IG is set up.
Should've
Yeah, she
been
did that
running
on
her mouth.
purpose, and then she gonna try to act like she ain't do nothing.
I hear echo.
Look at her face.
I don't know. I don't hear an echo.
Okay. Well, you were saying that you were going to get them some land and come back and visit. The corporations that they're getting money from, is that why they're going to need to be on the land?
No, I wanted land. I
To
wanted
make an investment or
Huh?
to make an investment?
I wanted to make an investment in land that, would be nice for me to go spend time at, but also I was trying to make an investment in them, and I was trying to give them a chance to, fulfill this, this utopia that they had, supposedly, wanted to do. So it just all comes down to her behavior that day, and she really blew it.
Yeah.
And now
The behavior that could be speculation that you explained to us, but now you're saying you're not sure if you saw it, and it just, who knows. But you just want to buy these people some land so they can go fulfill this utopia that they claim to have. I mean, what? Y'all.
everybody knows, now everybody knows the kinds of things she does around the baby and while she's holding the baby. And that's real unfortunate. So, I mean, she did a double whammy on herself.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But you know what? Why are they getting money from corporations though?
They didn't ask for it. They just the corporation gave it to them.
So just a one-time thing
That I know of.
Okay, alright. So it's just one corporation. What was the name of it? You said
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks. Okay. So they didn't have to do anything for it.
No. Company, they seek them out and they, give them a donation. I think that maybe they're trying to, show them who they are so that maybe they'll have a step up in the future if, like, they ever do a documentary or something on them. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I wasn't really that whole, I just had heard it casually that they had just given a donation. So.
Okay. So now they're official religious corporation, 501c.
Yeah, these people in the comment section are lost.
What is it? Yeah,
now they're official religious.
They're under a religious protection, and they have paperwork that a lawyer drew up for them. I didn't personally have anything to do with the.
She's lying, and when I play the other live, she knows exactly what it is. Because I'm pretty sure she was given the orders to go there and make sure that they get it done. Natureboy didn't come up with that idea. This was her. Whoever hired her and sent her. Come on, y'all.
The investigative channel holders that are in the comment section, they know exactly what this conversation is about. Hey, World News. I'm going to have to tag you. I'm going to have to make sure you're paying attention. She's back. And she was at the courthouse. You already know. This is about to be an interesting take and turn going on here.
That, but I was there and I heard that they had finalized.
Your hair is not nice. Just
Okay.
stop it. It's never gonna
So that's what they were doing in California.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like carbonation is a official religion now.
Yeah, apparently so. I haven't seen the paperwork, but I'm pretty sure that it's a real thing because that's what they were talking about.
Okay. Well, I know you were breaking it down earlier. Can you explain a little bit more what that means?
She sure was in detail. Now she don't know. Now she didn't see the paperwork.
What, the religion thing?
Well, yeah, the whole thing about them being incorporated or protected, because I know you were saying that means that they could, like, travel.
They can travel without being basically persecuted, which is what they're fearing, as far as going through Nicaragua. If they had that paperwork or documents to show the police at the gate, apparently, that would have squashed whatever, and the police would have had to leave until, they were, contacted by their lawyer or whatever. I'm not really sure the specifics, but it gives them certain...
Okay, because then they can say, like...
If I keep asking her, she gonna keep telling more because she know. But she keep trying to be short and saying she not really sure. Because she know. And when I played out the video, like I said, she already broke it down.
They're just practicing their religious beliefs or whatever.
I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the paper said, but yeah, it protects them under some sort of, law. I'm not sure.
She not sure. She broke the whole thing down. This girl ran her mouth. I'm talking about ran it.
Ooh. All right, interesting. Well, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And so you didn't really want to be a part of carbonation, though?
I mean, yeah, I was a part of it.
More so than just coming down and just getting the land and then going back home.
I mean, yeah, that was my goal.
Why she trying to act like it's nobody business when she was publicly with them and she did all all that talking once she departed from them. All that talking. Nobody told her to come on here and start telling all this stuff. Nobody. She did that. Yeah, you did that. Yeah.
So that was like that.
So your goal is to come join up with these people. Because for y'all who don't do the research, who don't follow, who don't report, you don't know. She went the hardest on behalf of carbonation. Okay? Advocating for him to get out of jail. All that writing the petition, all that footwork, this was her.
Yep.
Y'all saw Eliano Sonetta and doing a video and all that, but
this was her. It was her. It was her work at the end of the day that got him out of jail that time. You know how hard it was to get that dude and get him locked up? I got the videos on my channel. Yeah. I think he was locked up for like 2 months or whatever. He came out acting like he had did a whole prison bid and everything, looking like Skeletor and everything. I was clowning his ass, calling him Skeletor because he was skinny as hell and shit.
Anybody else? Ask any other channel. Ask World, ask Lurker, ask Granny, ask anybody. Go to Lurker's channel, go to Petty's channel, all of that. They've been reposting her stuff. She became the official spokesperson, and she put up her money and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's her job to come and make sure he get out of jail, make sure they get their paperwork for the religious thing, make sure that they get land, and go back home. And, maybe check on them every once in a while and see if they doing whatever it is they supposed to be doing.
Mishandle.
Was your job to do? Like somebody hired you, somebody sent you to do it?
No. No, I don't work for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay. Well, all right. Thank you for your call.
Like the wicked witch of the west stand to eat.
All right. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Check out them other videos I got on No Girl. Again, World, Kulu, she's back.